Who are you going to call? Movie Lovers Unite for your favorite podcast and movie reviews. That's who you're going to call. Look, guys, I'm going to be reviewing Ghostbusters 1984. I actually have Gomez here from the Sleepy G Show. You know him. Go on ahead, make some noise for him. He has a great podcast. Go on ahead, check him out on all networks and stuff like that. I promise you guys won't be disappointed in that. And with further ado, we're going to go on ahead. We're going to jump into this. We're going to go scene by scene, see if the nostalgia is still there. And let's go on ahead. Let's do it. And hey, Gomez, how are you?
What's going on, John? Doing good today, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's always going. You know what, man? It's always great just to talk about movies, talk about one of our favorite movies in the 1980s, and that is none other than Ghostbusters, man. This movie's hands down one of my favorite movies.
Favorite movies, 1984. Ivan Reitman was the director. Howard Ramis and Reitman produced and wrote. Well, Howard Ramis wrote with Dan Aykroyd this movie, which is freaking hilarious. If you know, Howard Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, two of the best actors, with Bill Murray. Before I say anything, too, Bill Murray was a great actor too. But to have these two minds, creative minds, geniuses, as I like to call them, and make a movie like Ghostbusters was amazing.
For sure.
You know what I mean? This movie was way ahead of its time in 1984.
Exactly.
So with the effects of the movie, there's no CGI, people. Listen to me. When we look at the new Ghostbusters movies that we've seen, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and the movie that's coming out, the CGI is totally different from what it was in 1984 and 1989 for the number 2 movie, which we are going to be doing that ourselves, me and him again. So be prepared for that one. So the fun thing is, Ghostbusters is, as you can see, he's wearing the Boston hat. I'm wearing the New York hat. I was going to wear one of my other lovely hats of here, but I decided because this is a New York film, I'm representing the Yankees and the New York Rangers and the New York Giants. I don't represent the Jets. Sorry, guys.
For the first time in Movie Lovers Unite history, we are actually going to be getting along with a Yankees fan. So
yes. It's amazing. Okay. And I'm getting along with a Boston fan. And it's okay.
Exactly. We're here to talk about Ghostbusters, not baseball this time, but
exactly. the argument's gonna happen.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Excuse me. Oh man. But yeah, it was a great movie. I loved it. It was ahead of its time.
It was definitely ahead of its time. And also too, man, like you don't see, like you said before, you don't see movies like this anymore or anything like that. So it's very unique to actually have this kind of thing in the 1980s to go on. So that's something that I really like. But my question was, is this for you though, man? Like, when was like the very first time you've seen Ghostbusters?
So I got to see Ghostbusters at a very young age. Was it 84? I got to see it the year after it came out, 85. So was it I was 6 years old. I actually had to think about this one because I'm freaking 44 years old. So 6 years old. And I got to admit, I was a little scared when I first watched it. I really covered my eyes because that was the first.
What got you? The library scene, or was it the Marshmallow Man? What
no,
was
no, it was the library scene that scared the crap out of me. I'm not gonna lie. It was, it was new to me because first of all, that was my very first PG movie or PG-13. I can't remember if it was PG or PG-13. So a 6-year-old watching a PG movie. You know what I mean? And my mom took me, and I said I really wanted to see it because the coming attractions looked great. I didn't know it was supposed to be like a true ghost movie. And when I went to see it, I got scared. We left. I really got scared because I wasn't expecting it. I did 6 months later watched it at home, and I overcame my fears. It was just because I was 6 years old. Again, I wasn't prepared mentally for it. I guess I thought I could handle it, and I really couldn't. I did pay my mom back with whatever coins I was able to dig up and say, I'm sorry for wasting your money on this movie, but here's the money back. But I really got I got the gist of it when I was a little bit older. I enjoy it. It's one of those movies I do own. I do own it. I own it on stream, on DVD. VHS. I had it all, and it's an all-time classic movie. One of my all-time classic 80s movies that I truly love it and holds steel hard for me. It's just
Same
one of
here.
those first movies. I had the toys growing up.
Me too. I had all the Ghostbusters toys. I also had the Firehouse. I had all that stuff.
Well, I didn't have the Firehouse. I had Ecto 1. I had the Proton
I had
Pack.
that too.
I had the Proton Pack, which was cool. And I did have the trap and the EKJ meter and all that stuff. I had all that stuff. So
Same.
if I didn't have that, I had the Ghostbusters toys, which was one of those classic things.
For sure.
But I thought that movie was just what they did for this movie in '84 to have it advance to where it is today. I think it was a great stepping stone what Ivan Reitman did, because
So too.
I think with the CGI of today is amazing. Listen, we can make Paul Walker come back to life in a movie. You could do almost anything. You know what I mean? And one of my favorite actors is Paul Walker, and I was sad when he passed away.
Me too.
So seeing that and seeing how they finished the movie so tastefully and gracefully was something I truly cherished. And I will say they did the same thing with Ghostbusters Afterlife. When they, if you've not seen the movie, I'm sorry, but I gotta say it. To see Harold Ramis with the guys, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Winston, it actually brings a little tear to my eye to see him helping his granddaughter, to see her busting ghosts. You know what I mean? And passing the traditions to her. So it was, the CGI was amazing. I don't think they would have done it in 1984, but what they did in '84 was just an amazing thing. You know what I mean? But we're not even up to that scene. We still got to talk about the entrance of this movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I got off topic. Sorry, I'm a babbler.
No, man. I like it. I like where it was. I like how it's going. But also too, I also grew up with this with the cartoons. I grew up with the action figures. I had everything like you mentioned. Also rented this movie. Then after that, I bought it on VHS as a kid, and also on part 2 as well.
Yep.
And so I grew up with this. This has like a lot of nostalgia for me, things like that. But let's go on ahead, guys. We're gonna get started with doing this by scene. So here's the thing: in a world haunted by the paranormal, where ghosts roam freely, 2 podcasters of a fearless individual stands ready to tackle the supernatural. They are the Ghostbusters and Movie Lovers Unite and Slavey G. Join us as we dive into the world of ghosts, schools, and gooey stuff. And this is a spectacular podcast adventure. And we're not afraid of no ghost. Who are you gonna call? Not us. It's gonna be Ghostbusters. Get ready for some ghostly fun and proton-packed excitement. Welcome to the Ghostbusters review of the 1984 film. So here's how it goes. Misfits, Paracologist Peter Venkman, Bill Murray, Raymond Stantz, Dan Aykroyd, and Egon Spengler, played by Harold Ramis, are called to the New York City Public Library after a series of apparent paranormal activities where they encounter the ghost of a dead librarian, but are frightened away when she transforms into a horrifying monster.
Oh, yeah.
But this is something that I really have to laugh at, though. Is like the library scene with the librarian first when you first start out with it, because she also gets scared first before this. That's the opening where you have this one shot of this librarian going down to the basement of this large library, and then you see the books going off the shelves a little bit, and then all of a sudden you see the librarian card. You see the index cards of everything flying all over the place.
Now, the funny thing about that scene, before we even get further in, what people don't realize, that was the actual library in New York. That whole scene. That was not.
Yeah,
that
the
was
upstairs
not a
was. Yeah, the upstairs was, but then Los Angeles downstairs.
Upstairs, yeah. So when people saw the movie, they thought it was a prop. It was not an LA prop or a prop they made in New York City. This was the actual library behind Bryant Park. The actual library. So it was kind of cool to see that. So I want to make sure people realize that was legit. You know what I mean?
That was pretty cool, though. That was pretty cool. I would love to actually be there during the filming of this and see people just lose their shit over this. I think that would have been pretty cool.
It would have been awesome. But I mean, I've been in that I've been to that library with my wife, and I just said, this is exactly where they taped Ghostbusters, and seeing the lion head and everything, it's just, it's very nostalgic. So when I go into the city and I'm at Bryant Park, I do pay homage to Ghostbusters. I'm like, Ghostbusters, yay! You know what I mean? So it's one of those things.
But what did you think of the opening scene though, with the library, with the one shot, and how horrifying that scene was? Because of, like,
So that scene took me out of the theater, scared crap. I was
not
I
even
was
5 minutes in.
It was not even 5 minutes in. It scared the crap out of me. I will admit to that. I'm not gonna lie, but I was 6 years old at that time. So
Right.
it cut me a little slack.
I will.
I think the scene was amazing because, first of all, when I was not afraid of ghosts anymore, and I got to really sit down and see it, I thought the cinematography of that whole scene of walking through the downstairs of the library, going through the index cards, and Egon going, "Hey, grab me some of this slime," and Bill Murray's like, "Ugh," it's like mucus.
Right.
He's like, "Ah," it's stuck all over him. It's amazing. Stack of books. You don't see things like that.
No.
And then it's kind of funny. It's like they see the ghost lady, and they said, "Ray, go get her." And no, well, actually, Peter comes up. "Hi, I'm Peter Venkman. What's your name?" Like he was
And then
trying
all of a
to,
sudden, she tells him
like,
to shut up.
yeah.
And then he goes, yeah.
Ray goes, "I got an idea. Just follow me. One, get her," and then you see the freaking thing blow up. You're like, "Holy Christ!" Like, it was scary at first. Now I can
Right,
laugh
because you don't
about it.
expect that jump scare, because number one, you have Peter who's actually thinking that this is all fake anyways. Because remember, at the very beginning of that scene too, they set it up to where Peter's actually hitting on the college student with electroshock therapy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
With the cards.
Yes. The girl's getting them all wrong, and he was getting them all right. Gee, I wonder why.
And he goes, "What's that? Just a bunch of lines with squiggly lines, huh? I'm sorry." He winds up shocking him, but that's when, of course, Venkman comes in and basically say, "Hey, look, we gotta go. We have a paranormal phenomenon going down at the library."
Yeah, and he was trying to get in her box. I mean, her.
Right. But I thought it was hilarious, though, like how basically Venkman is just basically going down there, and he doesn't believe any of this stuff that's going on. Like you said, you see the stack of books. He goes, "Yeah, nobody would actually put stack of books down here before."
No, without a doubt. I mean, his character was not to believe in it,
Right.
and he was the non-believer, even though he studied this in college and he became Dr. Peter Venkman. And that's the funny thing, you know what I mean? So again, opening scene was just amazing for them to do that. And it was one of those things they were scared as hell. It's like they were laughing. I think they were outside the school, I think, and they were drinking and they were laughing on "Get her." It's like that's the first thing that came to my mind. Get her. You know what I mean? So
And then
like that is nostalgic.
definitely, and then especially the part where basically you see the whole entire bookshelf just falls down and goes, and I like how Venkman just looks at Ray and Egon and goes, "That never happened before, did it?"
Just like that. Like, nope. Thought so.
And,
So they just keep walking.
But yeah, that whole entire scene of "Get her," and I like how after that scene plays out, and then after everything's actually calmed down, he's like, "Oh, just get her, huh? That was your big thing. Just get her."
Just get her was the big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you thought of. Nothing else.
There's nothing else. It was just one of those funny scenes.
Yeah.
And and it's kind of funny because I guess Egon and Ray were talking about this for a long time, about having a containment unit where to store ghosts. So the paranormal was a true thing. You know what I mean? Paranormal does exist in America these days. I'm a true believer in it, to be honest with you, not even because of the movie. I do believe the paranormal exists for a reason. I think they're there to either to help you, support you in a way, or they're going to scare the crap out of you somehow. You know what I mean? There's good stuff and there's evil stuff. I do believe in that.
Right.
and I believe Egon and Ray believed in that too. And that's why I remember in the one scene was just like a couple minutes later, and in the movie it looks like a couple minutes later. Excuse me, I apologize, people. They were talking about the containment unit, you know what I mean? And
Right.
And Ray's like, whatever you want to call it luck, call it karma, you know what I mean? And he goes, and he was drinking, he goes, this containment unit is going to cost some serious cash load.
And then that's whenever they make basically what they wind up making him do is they make Raymond put up his own parents' house.
He didn't even negotiate with the bank. Peter Venkman didn't even negotiate with the bank. He goes, you didn't even negotiate with them 28.5%. I was like, holy Christ. I was like, 28.5%. But, they found the fire station house, and they're like, oh, I remember Ray when he looked like he was a kid he was like a kid in a chocolate cake factory.
He did.
Because when he goes, hey, does this pole work? I'm like, well, no. I mean, a pole should work. You're sliding down, not up. He was like, wow, this place is amazing. Well, we should sleep here. Test it out. It's like, we'll just take it.
Right, because at first I was like, no, this looks condemned. This is too much money for a fixer-upper.
Oh my God,
do you think that this is actually... You think this is worth it? And all of a sudden you see him. He looks, like you said, he looks like a kid who his father just built him his first treehouse.
Yeah. But the one thing I noticed, there was one thing I did forget to mention, though. We don't know how much the bank offered them.
No, we don't.
It had to be enough money to get the containment unit up, rent the place, buy Ecto, which we'll get to that in a minute, because it was a ridiculous amount of how much he spent on that car.
Right.
And and set up all the doodads and the proton packs and all that stuff.
Right. And like we said, after losing their jobs at the Columbia University, they tried to establish a paranormal extermination investigation service known as the Ghostbusters. They developed a high-tech equipment capable of capturing ghosts and opened their business in a disused, rundown firehouse at the Sedgwick Hotel. They captured the first ghost and deposit it in built contamination unit in the firehouse basement. Paranormal activity then begins to increase in New York City. The Ghostbusters become celebrities by containing it, but are increasingly overworked and hire a fourth member, Winston Zedmore.
So when the scene happens, when we get introduced to Ecto 1, he buys this piece of crap hearse. It's broken down, no suspension. And it was kind of funny. He's like, well, we need to get this suspension, brakes, brake lifts, brake this, brake that, new tires. And he goes, how much? Oh, it cost me $6,700.
Right, that's all.
I just said, that's a lot of freaking money. And you're going to put about $8,000 into it, or $10,000 with all the sirens. So they redid it and it looked amazing. Now, to per se what you said, their very first customer, if you think about it, before they went to the hotel to bust Slimer, was Dana Barrett, which was played by the beautiful Sigourney Weaver at that time.
Yes.
So she became the first, and Bill Murray was hilarious. He goes, I'm going to go check Dana in her apartment. I'm going to check Dana at her apartment. I mean, I'm going to check her apartment. Yeah. So it was kind of funny. And, he's doing some kind of whatever the hell that little squishy thing was.
He's just basically just BSing the whole entire thing.
Yeah,
and banging on the piano keys a little bit. He has
they hate this
blood pressure.
They hate this. Yeah, they're like, they hate this. And he's playing the piano fingers, you know what I mean? And then he opens up the fridge, and I remember and that's where she goes, you came all this way. Can you please check the fridge? And he opens it. He's like, oh my God. And then you see like bologna, Cokes. Like, this is not all here. He freaking said a dog was in there and it said Zool. So that was, the first inclination. Then,
Then, of course, she winds up telling them, hey, look, there was a monster or a dog in my refrigerator. Named Zool. And then they're doing all these tests on her.
Yes.
To make sure that she's actually telling the truth. Egon's like, yeah.
Yeah, Egon's like, she's telling the truth, but you can tell in the picture that, she's perfectly normal because it's a frame, which we'll get to later again. There's another part of this movie that we'll talk about. But I remember the whole petty cash thing. Is like they're eating Chinese food, they're drinking beers, like to our first customer. I gotta withdraw some petty cash, take her out, wine and diners. Like this whole meal is the rest of petty cash. Slow down, chew your food. So they're just starting out, and I think Janine Meltzer was hilarious in this scene.
Me too.
We got one, and she's ringing that bell. It's a call, and you hear the song and racing, and they get to the hotel. And the best part of this whole thing is these three coming with proton packs and jumpsuits and traps, and Peter Venkman, hey, anybody seen a ghost? And he looks at this girl's like, yeah. So,
how you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how you doing? New York style. So it was one of those great scenes again.
Right. And I also remember like one of the hotel customers just looking at him like, what's going on over here? He goes, there's a big roach. There's a big roach inside the hotel.
Oh yeah, when they were going upstairs the
the
elevator. Someone said there's a big cockroach on 12. Must be some cockroach. It'll bite your head off, man.
Yeah. It's on the 12th floor. You might want to stay down. Okay, not a problem. Okay.
Going up. I'll wait for the next elevator. So
and then they climb the stairs, and then they finally get up to it. And...
No, they didn't climb the steps in this one.
No, right.
That was towards the end.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
No, so this one they went up the elevator and they split up 3 ways. So it's kind of funny. Ray's smoking a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Egon, I don't know where the hell he went to, and Peter went somewhere else. Ray sees...
Yeah, because they said they could cover a lot more damage if they just went on ahead and split up. Because at first they're all together.
They were all together. And they blew up the maid's cart. And like, whoa. Yes, I do remember that. I do apologize. I forgot that scene. It's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm sorry. We're all sorry. It's like, so in that scene, they split up. They say, we'll do more damage this way. We'll split up. Okay. And Ray sees Slimer for the first. So this is the introducing of Slimer for the first time. His name wasn't Slimer. He was just a disgusting blob.
Right.
And he goes, oh God, what a disgusting blob. You see him drinking the wine's coming right out of him. He's eating all the food. And he's like, well, here goes nothing. And it goes. And Slimer meets Venkman.
Right, because he goes through the wall.
And
the
food cart crashes everything. And then he sees Pete Venkman. And he goes, Ray, I found him. He goes, yeah, he's a disgusting little stop. Ray, he could hear you. He goes, oh. And then he goes,
he's looking at me
right now, Ray. And then Slimer comes running. He goes, wow, what neat stuff. You've been live acting. He slimed me. And then Egon calls like, hey, you guys got to get down here. He's in the hall. It's like, save me some of that.
Egon's over there scanning somebody with the...
Yeah, he pushes him with his finger. Make sure he's alive. The next scene is the ballroom scene, though.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have these people that are getting ready to go into the ballroom and everything, but they have to wait until the Ghostbusters are done exterminating this ghost that's supposedly inside the room. And so they're hearing all this clatter and everything, too, that's going on inside. And I like how they decide, okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and push the tables over to make more space for us.
Now, there was one important tip that Egon says. Guys, I forgot to tell you something. Don't cross the streams. Why not? Well, imagine that your life just impended in 1 second. Oh, okay, I got it. Yeah, good tip. Guys, don't cross the streams.
And then Venkman is like, I always wanted to do this.
Boom, he tries to do that magic trick, with the
and the flowers are still there.
Yes, and the flowers are still standing. Those are great. That was a great scene.
Yeah.
And that's when they start shooting at Slimer, and Egon finally shoots the proton back. Like, whoa, nice shooting, Tex. So, it's like, he's right over there. It's like we took a little bit out of him. And, Egon, I think, was it Egon? Yeah, because Ray hit the trap. He was
And
they got
Venkman, yeah, they both had the proton packs.
packs, and then they bring down Slimer. Remember, don't cross the streams. Be careful. It's like, Venkman, lower your stream so I don't get my face blown off. So, and then they did the trap. It's like, you see the first entrapment, which was really cool. I think they did that.
I love
really,
the entrapment scene alone. That was actually pretty cool.
that was really cool
time.
because that was the first time. Now, again, computer CGI did not exist in 1984. So for them to do the scene, it was literally a green screen that they had to develop because, again, there was no CGI at that time. So
No.
the development of the trap opening up and the big thing coming up and then taking Slimer down with the streams of the proton pack was amazing. To see all that. And again, this movie was way ahead of its time.
Right, because they had to make the technology for the green screen. They had to make the technology to make the proton stuff work.
Yeah.
And also the trap work.
Yeah. So I mean, there was a lot of cool things. Like, don't forget Star Wars, and I think they did what they did was go with what Steven Spielberg did for Star Wars, for the lightsabers. You know what I mean? Because again, CGI was not around for Star Wars, especially in 1970s.
No, they had to do like toy miniature stuff, like miniature statues and stuff like that in houses.
Exactly.
To make it work.
So it's one of those things, you know what I mean? It's cool. It's one of those like, holy Christ, you know what I mean? You just can't. Again, ahead of its time, this movie. I could say that. I'm going to say that all night.
But another thing though too is like this is the cool thing when they actually have it in the trap and you see the smoke coming from it, and then you see Venkman come out. Just we came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Oh, when he opened the door, yeah.
And then
how much
hotel manager, the owner or the manager is like, "You got him? Yeah, we got him." Because like, how much would that be? About $6,000.
It's like, but we're having a special today, and you see Egon doing this for $5,000 for the entrapment and everything. $5,000, I will not pay it. Well, that's okay. We're going to release it right there. Like, no. So they really ripped off their very first customer for $5,000.
Which I can understand why though, because it's like you're trying to start your own business, so therefore they don't know how much any of this stuff was. I bet inside the business meeting that they actually had with each other was like this: how much do we charge for anyone for all this stuff? I don't know. I don't think we were going to have any customers.
And it happened. It's just one of those things. Oh man!
But I just thought that was hilarious, where they just make up a price and they price gouge this guy, and then after that they go. Then after that happens, you see them hire Janie, the secretary.
Janine Meltzer. Yep.
Get Janine. No, that was before that.
It was way before that. She was already hired.
Yeah.
There was no one really hired throughout the process except for Winston.
Yeah, Winston was like the only one for hire.
Yeah.
Which I thought having him come on board was pretty cool to see him.
And that came like in the middle of the movie almost.
Yeah, that came out like in the middle of the movie. But I like how they're working like nonstop. It's been like 2 weeks without a break. They're both tired. The war down.
Oh yeah.
And then I like how basically you have Sigourney Weaver's character just looking at the TV, and then you see the Ghostbusters just jogging down the street. You see them on the Larry King show. You see them everywhere.
And then you hear Casey Kasem talk about him on the radio because it was that top 40 back in the day in Z100. And the funny thing was like, as the guys of the Ghostbuster guys go against a nasty ghoul in the nightclub, and they stayed to dance with the ladies.
Yes, and then after that happens, that's when we actually get introduced to Winston.
Yeah,
but also too, I like how Rick Moranis is in this movie though too, playing
Louis Tully,
playing Louis. I thought that was hilarious because this is this geeky guy that represents us and who we want to actually get with is the girl that's across away from them, but we know that he's out of his league, just as how we know that we're out of her league too. And he goes, yeah, I'm just having a couple of guys over and everything later on. If you just want to go on ahead and come over, we're gonna be playing Twister later.
We're gonna get easy. Yeah, that was great.
Hey, I just want to let you know that you left your TV on,
And then
but
I put my TV on very loud, and it was just hilarious. He goes,
it
"No,"
was
and that's when actually in that scene when he was having the party, that's when we see the transformation of Sigourney Weaver being um Zool.
where Dana's winds up being Zool,
Yeah, and then she's looking for the gatekeeper or the keymaster. I'm sorry,
Keymaster.
the keymaster, which ended up being Louis Tully.
So,
Now, the funny thing about that was this is where now the infamous dog is not really a dog, but it's this nasty beast. If you ever seen the movie The Ninth Gate, I think this is where they got the idea. Was this movie from The Ninth Gate? But I think Ninth Gate came out later. So
yeah,
Ninth Gate
years
stole it
later.
from yeah. So the Ninth Gate stole the idea from Ghostbusters. All right, I have no idea how the hell the Ghostbusters thought of this one. So it's like a frog meets a lizard that meets a lion that meets a bull. If you get what I'm saying, it's green,
Right.
it's ugly, it's fangy, and it's got horns. So this is why I cross reference. It runs like a freaking frog, but it chases like a lion. It looks like a bull, but it also has got teeth of I don't know what, like a piranha.
Right.
So
It kind of looks like a Gorgile kind of
yes,
thing.
a gorgile, something. It's just freaking nasty. So like Louis Tully is having clients. He was that nerd. He was the tax
Yeah,
guy. He
yeah, and he's over there telling everybody their budgets, telling everybody,
yeah.
"Hey, look,
Hey,
uh,
this stuff is tax deductible. I just tell this to my clients. Like, no one gives a crap. You know what I mean? And then it has the very beautiful. Hey, Mary, if you dance and I dance, everyone starts dancing.
right?
I remember the doorbell rings. He goes, 10 and a net. Yeah, 10 owns this. He's 12% in this. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I don't think everybody needs to know that.
No, if I was Ted in them, I'd be like, look, I'm gonna go, Lou. It's been nice knowing you for this 5 seconds at the
Yeah,
party, but I didn't want nobody to know my business for my taxes."
yeah, exactly. But the funny thing is that he throws in his room their jackets. Now,
Is
how the hell is the dog? No, well, not the dog. I keep calling it a dog. How is the monster in his bedroom without anybody seeing?
because I'm I don't know. It's one of those things where
Okay,
basically it's a ghost. I
but
don't
that's
know.
I don't know
I don't
either.
know.
That there was one of those you got to sit there and you look at the movie and you're like, holy shnikes, that
Right.
actually doesn't make sense. How did he get in there?
Right?
So
Did he chew his way up this
did he
up in
chew
the
his way
ceiling?
through? Yeah, did he chew through a ceiling? Did he come through a door? Did he break a window? Because everyone would have heard it. So
Right.
one of those movie mysteries we'll never know.
Right. It's
So
just Hollywood magic,
it's Hollywood
basically.
magic, yes. So he goes, and you hear, "Roar." It's like, all right, who brought the dog? And the thing burst open right on top of the food, right through the door on top of the food. And Tully runs out of there screaming like a little
Yeah.
girl. He bolted. There's not supposed to be dogs. There's no supposed to be bears. Like
Dogs.
it was dogs, bears, whatever. And he runs out of the apartment and what did he say? He said that it was a bear in his
Yeah.
apartment. And
Yeah.
then you
Big
saw the
dog.
thing
Dog. Yeah.
jump right through. And that's when he gets transformed in the Central Park as the gatekeeper, as the
As the key
keymaster,
keeper. Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
keymaster. I'm sorry.
Master. But another thing though that was funny though was too where we basically wind up having basically that you have all the Ghostbusters up inside
Mhm.
the firehouse, and Ray's over there sleeping, and you
Oh,
have
the
that little
ghost, that dream scene with
yeah,
the girl.
and he winds up having a little bit of a pleasure from the BJ that the ghost gave him.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
funny.
that
Yeah,
part was funny. Winston getting hired was actually funny, and I like how the interview process goes. So, do you believe in UFOs? Do you believe in Sasquatch? Do you believe in this? Because if it's for a paycheck, I believe in anything.
if it has a steady paycheck, I believe
Yeah,
whatever you want me to believe.
right.
And that's one of those great scenes he has. Yeah.
But like you
Um.
were mentioning though, too, with the whole entire deal with Lewis becoming the key master and stuff
Mhm.
like that too, I thought that was really funny because he goes on ahead and bangs on that 5-star restaurant, gets transformed into that,
And
and
then everyone just starts back to eating.
Yeah, it's New York. I was like, okay, well, there's a crazy guy banging on
Yeah,
the
what else is new?
glass.
Exactly.
You know,
But the thing is, you know, it's kind of funny. The police pick him up and bring him to the Ghostbusters. And remember, now here's what I was going to like. We talked about Dana. She was on that screen, and then
right,
we bring Louis Tully in, and they put that freaking colander in his brain, and you see him as the monster. The monster
right.
comes up on the screen, not him. So that was kind of cool to see that too. You know what I mean? So you know, this is like I'm Jim Lortho, keymaster of this, and you're like, well, this is his name is Louis Tully. It was in Central Park West.
Right. And then also too, I like also the other special effects where basically Zold comes out from Dana's couch to go
Yeah,
to
yes,
her,
yes.
and
The molestation of the couch.
yeah.
She got
Oh,
molested
the
pretty bad.
recliner actually, and it
The
just
recliner,
slides.
she got
Yeah,
molested by that couch.
yeah.
One of those, the hands were a little handsy,
Very handsy.
very very handsy. You don't realize it until you get older. You're
Right,
like
because it comes out
looking,
in the middle where, yeah.
you're like, did he just grab her? Yeah, he did. You have to rewind and
Yeah.
watch it again and again. You're like, yeah, he grabbed her there. He grabbed her there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he grabbed that too. Holy Christ! Whoever that guy was, it better be her boyfriend, or her husband, because I would have been pissed.
I
Seeing
would have
that.
been too. But I, like you mentioned though, with Lewis though, whenever the cops bring him over to the Ghostbusters, I like how the secretary's like bringing in or picking up or dropping off.
Dropping
It's like,
off.
so now they got the big enough name to where basically now you are dealing with people in insane asylums where either they're going to bring them straight to the insane asylum or they're going to bring them over there.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I like that. I like that whole entire concept of the Ghostbusters now dealing with the cops and they feel safe with them,
Mhm.
opposed to, you know,
Well,
opposed to just locking them away.
it's just one of those things. It was just really cool, and again, the movie was done so well. You know what I mean? It was ahead of its time. Ahead of its time, without a doubt. Best way I could put it. Ahead of its time.
And then after that winds up happening, the Ghostbusters are retained by Dana Barrett, whose apartment is haunted by a demonic spirit, Zol, a demigod worshipped as a servant to Gozer, the Gozerine, a serene shape shifting god of destruction. Venkman takes a particular interest in the case and becomes Dana's neighbor. Okay, so we covered that part, and
We
then
did.
of course, Bold Demon speaks of the coming of the days of Gozer, and the Ghostbusters take steps to keep the two apart. Thereafter, the Ghostbusters office is visited by Walter Peck,
Walter
a
Peck, yes.
lawyer of
Yes.
the APA. He has the team arrested by the operating unlicensed waste handlers and orders their ghost containment system and deactivates it.
How it was funny. The scene before he shuts it down, right before he shuts it down, they're talking about how the containment unit is getting full and that
Right.
they didn't have enough storage space. And Egon Plows is like, imagine this is full, like a Twinkie, fully full, and then you bite it, it explodes of the
Right.
creamy goodness. And you know, when he comes down, it's like, oh, I had a visitor from our friend from the EPA again, and they're talking about, it's like, hey, you know, this, and hey, tell him about the Twinkie. And the best thing is Ray looks, what about the Twinkie? And Egon just looks at him like, you don't need to know.
Right.
And they come down, EPA comes down with police, you know,
A couple of days
and
later.
yeah, like a day later almost. You know, in reality, in the movie, it's like a day later. It's like 2 or 3 days later in reality, but in the movie,
Right.
it's a day later. They come down with Con Ed, Richard Peck, or Mr. Peckerhead, as we call them in the movie.
Right.
He shuts down the containment unit, and as you hear, like you hear the alarm going low,
Mhm.
and then all you see is the bricks falling, you know, getting pushed out. The containment unit blows up, and you see all the spirits getting blown up from the roof, which I thought was, again, great
Great.
cinematography.
And Lewis is like, it's a sign. And
It's a
then
sign.
Jamie's like,
It's a sign of going
that's
out of
going out of
business.
business.
Yes.
And then before that happens too, I like how Venkman goes over to Dana's apartment, and she goes, "There is no Dana. There's only
There's only
Zool.
Zool. You know,
And are you the
my would be,
gatekeeper? Are you the keykeeper?"
yes, you know, and she knocked him up with like 500 cc's of something, he says, and you know, he comes back, and that's when the explosion happens. And then the funny thing is, like, you never see Egon get pissed. And he goes, "These men, I want them arrested. They caused us." Well, you mother. You know what I mean? And you see him get really pissed. And they go to the mayor, and, you know, it's like, Lenny, they're explaining, you know, I was talking to Walter LaGuardia, and he's been dead for 30 years. So, you know, the priest comes in, he goes, "You know, we can't decide the living and the dead." And, you know, and Walter Peck's in there, and in the Ghostbusters, and he just says something. He's like, "Lenny, you will save millions of registered voters." And I remember Walter Peck goes, "I cannot believe you're going to be listening to these men. I want him out of here. Get him out. Thank you so much. All right, guys, Ghostbusters, what do you need?" You know, then you got like military. You know, it's like, "Come on, run the red light already. Let's go." You know what I mean? They're going to Dana
Exactly.
Barrett's apartment to now face Zool. Okay, so the climatic ending. Now, you mentioned how they walked up 20-something flights of stairs, and you thought it was the first scene. It was
Right.
this scene where they walked up the stairs because the elevators were broken.
Right.
And he goes, "What did she get?" 24. Tell me when we get there, I'm going to throw up. Imagine walking 26 flights of stairs or 24 flights of stairs with that freaking proton pack in your back.
Yeah, that's too many stairs to be climbing. But
oh, God, yeah.
I'd be like, okay, I need a break. Zool's just gonna have to do whatever he's gonna do, and that's it for a few minutes while I take a break. There's also the other part that I liked on that other scene that you though too, whenever the mayor. Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
No dick. Yes, that was the great one-liner. But you know, this movie had a lot of great one-liners. It also had great history. I mean, when they get there, they confront Zool. So Zool comes out of nowhere. You know what I mean? They shoot at it, and she disappears, or it disappears because it's a god. So it could form itself as a female, a male, a dog, or whatever.
Whatever you're thinking, that's what it becomes.
It becomes now. And she goes, "Now choose your destroyer." She goes, "Oh, I get it now." And it's like, so if we decide J. Edgar Hoover is going to kill us, who's going to hurt us? That's who's going to come down and kill us. So everyone clear their minds. And then all of a sudden, the destroyer has been chosen. You know, and you're like, "Well, I didn't think anything. Well, did you? No.
Then there's Ray.
Poor Ray walks like, "I'm sorry. It just popped in there." "What, Ray? What just popped in there?" And then Winston's like, "Oh my God. What did you do, Ray?" "We roasted Stay Puft Marshmallows around the campfire." "Okay, Egon. Ray's gone. Bye-bye."
What do you have? What do you got? And then he's like, "I don't have anything." And then you see the giant marshmallow man.
Yeah. Well,
and he's over there. Yeah.
He's walking in the streets of New York. Hey, he's a giant marshmallow man. He's a sailor. We can get him laid.
He'll be fine. He'll be good to go.
And then he steps on the church. "Hey, nobody steps on a church on my town." Like, you're Catholic?
Right. All of a sudden now
you care?
Right.
So now you're fighting this 300-foot marshmallow man. Okay. Now, I mean, it was kind of funny because they are trying to melt the marshmallow man with the proton packs. And I remember this one part. Egon goes, "I have an idea." "What?" "We're gonna have to cross the streams." "Egon, you told us it's a bad idea." He goes, "Well, right now, we gotta do." So it's kind of funny. It's like, you know, see you on the other side, Ray. You too, Peter. You know what I mean? It's like they think they're all gonna die. And They all cross the streams, and they made one big proton. And they defeat Zool, and the Marshmallow Man is melted. I mean, again, the graphics on this movie was so ahead of its time. To
It
see
was.
to see Stave Puff's face burn up right there, and see the flames, and see the guys, and oh my god, it smells like roasted dog. Oh, Venkman. Oh, Venkman, I'm so sorry. You know, everyone's covered in marshmallow, and Pete Venkman's covered like a little bit on his head.
Head, and that was it. And then after that, they're thinking that Dana's dead. They're thinking Lewis is dead because they see the dogs basically with laying on their backs
with the
back in
paws handed
stone.
up. Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, Peter, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And then all of a sudden, you see Dana and
Break
everything
out.
break out with her hand, and then she's okay. And Lewis comes out, and he still has like the dog's head attached to his head.
Hey, somebody let me out. I can't see with this thing on.
It's the little guy. And then he comes out, and then they wind up going back downstairs. Everybody celebrates, and that's the end of the movie.
No, the best part of before we end that movie is when the Marshmallow Man blows up, and Walter Peck is standing right by the Ghostbuster car, and a melted marshmallow comes and hits him right at the end.
And he definitely got his due on that one.
Yes, he did.
Which is what I was happy was like you always hope for that one ball bag to get his due. And he so happens to be, he winds up getting what comes to him, you know.
Yep.
But you know, this movie is so good. I still love this movie. I still love watching this movie. It still hits the nostalgia. Some of the special effects may not hold up as good as it does today by any standard, but you know what?
1984, it did.
No. Yes.
I mean, even to this day, actually, when I watch the movie and I sit there and I look at part one, and I go, "Wow, the effects of this movie was so cutting edge at that time."
Right.
In 1984, if you think about it, Apple was not around yet. It was Commodore 64s. You know what I mean? Maybe Macintosh was out. You know what I mean at that point. But you know, again, it's not where we have these Apple Macs now. These beautiful Hewlett Packard, Dells, all these wonderful companies that have these wonderful laptops that can make these movies. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not what it was what it is now. No. It was back in the day. So I mean, credit where credit's due. What they did for the movie was amazing.
Exactly. And they also have to make the technology that they have.
Yeah, that too.
And so I thought it was good. I really enjoy watching it. I still crack up, especially the part where, like I said, where Peter winds up saying, "Yes, it's true. This man has no dick." I like that one.
Yeah.
Just the little one-liners here and there, especially inside the police station when they get arrested.
Yes.
In the jail cell and stuff like that. And then Peter has to distract the jail cellmates and everything from hearing what they're talking about. So therefore,
he sings his song. Whoa, somebody's coming. It's like, we got to get out of here.
But yeah, hands down, this is one of my favorite Ghostbusters movies. I can't wait to review part 2.
Part 2 is gonna be coming soon. We gotta talk about the date. Actually, we'll start talking this week about that date because part 2 is we both agreed we're talking Ghostbusters 1, 2, and Afterlife. I will not discuss the Ghostbusters female version. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to say the female version is bad. No, actually, I've seen that movie was bad. But listen, if you're a female and you want to be a Ghostbuster, I'm all for it. Just the movie was not right for it.
No. And I actually have the non-spoiler review on this channel, though, too, because I did go out and see it.
I refuse not to.
I did. I went to the theater to see it because I'm like, it can't be as bad as I think it's going to be.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was dirty bad. Like no. I couldn't put myself to go even watch it.
Well, guys, that's going to be it as far as the show goes. I hope everyone has a great and safe night. Gomez, keep up the great work on the Sleepy G show. I do appreciate you coming by, reviewing Ghostbusters 1 with us. We are going to be doing Ghostbusters 2. Do you have anything coming out as far as your channel goes or anything like that for your podcast?
Yeah. So just keep in mind, everybody, I've been doing every other week. I'm releasing shows every 2 weeks now, except this month is a little bit crazy. I'm releasing a St. Patrick's Day one. Whenever this is being released, I'll probably have that already released. I do have some great shows lined up. I'm recording some amazing shows coming up too. Hoping to I'm not going to spoil it yet, but I'm hoping to talk to somebody to get this person on the show. I'm not going to discuss yet until I have a good confirmation, and I'll start spilling some beans once it is confirmed. I have some amazing blogs going up. I got one more of the 1990s top 5 movies. The number 1 should be coming out this week. And then I gotta thank the guys at Unfiltered Studios. You know what I mean? I kind of give them a little props. Kev, the Stupid History, Beebs Finding Your Way, Mama D Pedals of Sports, Cindy Hypno Wellness. Let me just tell you, when I first started with Unfiltered Studios, I think there was only 7 of us. There is 21 podcasters in this wonderful little family we have going.
Yeah, it's just crazy on how fast it has grown since December.
From when I signed on October with these guys, it's phenomenal work. Great connections. Kev Beebs, everybody's doing a great job with this whole thing. I just feel that we're in the right place, because that's why I like saying we're coming, we're taking over, and I think everyone's loving that little slogan I've been doing, because every content I put out, I mention this because I want people to realize that us as small indie podcasters, we're going to do some big things.
We definitely
are. And we're going to take over, and we're taking over the world. Like, I want to be next to, I would say my show, I would consider my show Ellen DeGeneres meets Kelly Clarkson meets Phil Donahue, but it's all in one show for me. There's laughter, there's fun, there's sports, there's music, there's movies, there's awareness, there's everything. So that's where my show is just a pile of goodness into one. You'll get everything, you'll get everything out of my show. So, check me out on YouTube, Sleevy G Show, Good Pods, Spotify, Amazon, all the great hits. You know what I mean? Again, and then check out John too, guys. If you've not checked out this show, I've been on a couple of times. I've had fun. This has been another great show. And I'm very thankful for any opportunity I can get on and talk movies, which is more my niche. I love movies. I grew up watching movies. I wanted to be a director growing up. I really wanted to be a film director for a long time. But that did not work out very well. I am a podcaster now. Go figure. That my direction went the wrong way. But I love what I do. I love what I'm doing. And I do it because the people love it. And it's an opportunity to release my talents, which is not much, into talking to everybody. You know what I mean? And that's where I think I do my best work as an improv. I don't have a script. Don't have anything like that. I have no intro, no outro music, because I want it raw as possible. As much as everyone's telling me I should, I was trying to do it, but Anchor kind of screwed me, and I will say it out loud. Anchor screwed
sucks.
Me. Yeah. I'm no longer with Anchor, so I had to redo everything in one day. It took me 8 hours to do it.
I remember that. Now I had to help you with.
Yes. Thank you to you, John, on that. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. So the shows are up and running. I'm still trying to iron out some things, but I'm just keeping the show as real as I can, just like you are, John. I mean, it's me, it's raw, it's good, it's unscripted. Listen, if I screw up my own entrance, I screw it up. I just say, sorry guys, I screwed it up. So it's a great opportunity, man. I just love what I do.
And guys, his show is fantastic. It's like a variety show. You get a variety of everything. If you like food, if you like entertainment, it's like one big huge cake that you just have to eat. Every single day, he has something different going on.
Even my blogs too. My blogs are different.
Check out his blogs. His blogs are fantastic. I read a couple of his blogs and everything in the past and stuff like that too. So go ahead and check out his blogs. But yeah, as far as this review goes for Ghostbusters, I hope that you guys enjoy this. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment button, rate us on Good Pods, rate us on Apple Podcasts, where you guys get your podcasts from. Follow the Unfiltered Studios people as well that we mentioned and stuff like that. Also, too, Rossi will be back on the show with me on Wednesday. We're going to be doing our Twister review. So we're going to be doing that. So yeah, we're revisiting that for the movie Twisters that's going to be coming out this year. So
can I just say a little something?
Yeah.
I'm really not going to be thrilled about this movie. I love the original,
I do too.
but to remake the original and call it Twisters, I don't know. There it is. Great
Yeah.
movie. This is the movie I would recommend highly. And listen, I will see number 2. Like I am going to watch Roadhouse, the new Roadhouse
I am
remake.
too.
I will say that. I'm kind of curious to see what Jake Gyllenhaal can do. I think he's a great actor. He's not a Patrick Swayze.
No.
But it's an updated version. I know we hate remakes here. I'm not a big fan of them either. But it's the generation, unfortunately, will not get the 80s version. And I will respect that. Just like they're remaking Ghostbusters Afterlife and the newest one coming out. I respected the fact they keep the generations going. I will say that. And they did the remakes of Ghostbusters, the newest ones that are coming out, and Afterlife, tastefully and beautifully, and I got to thank them for that. And Ivan Reitman's son's the director. So, they kept it as nostalgic as they can.
Right.
So I appreciate that. And, I will definitely be listening into Rossi and you. Actually, wait, I'm recording that night. So I will not be listening into that one like I usually do, but
It'll be on the audio.
I'll try to check it out when it comes out because I want to hear you guys think about it. But my little thought is I'm kind of for it, but I'm not because I still love the original, even though they still say we have cows. So, they do say that, which is kind of cool, but nothing beats the original. Now, I did hear a rumor that there were a couple of the cast members from the original movie that are going to be in this one.
Right.
So I don't know who it is. And they didn't mention anything about Helen Hunt being in this one. So that might be a surprise to everybody if she shows up in this movie.
Exactly.
So that's my piece on that one.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to be it as far as the show goes. I hope that everybody has a great and safe night. And always until next time, guys.